But I think the first thing to say is, although I'm here at this conference, I don't really regard myself as a play therapist. I'm a jobbing child psychiatrist, or even more than that, just someone who goes around listening to and talking with children. Mainly children, of course, who've been subject to all sorts of horrendous traumas. Sometimes so big that words are not enough to describe them, or they're too dangerous if they've been abused, or they're simply too difficult. Children of all ages. One of the lessons I learned very quickly with little children is that life ain't quite so simple as Piaget said it was. And I know he was a great man, and a lot of his stuff comes from detailed observation of his own children, let alone other people's. And it's a kind of rough guide. You know, this is what in child development a child would be doing at this sort of age. And heaven only knows it's important. Hardly any professions in the UK now, I don't know what happens where you come from, get a grounding in child development. You know, I used to get loads of referrals from GPs of 2-year-olds because they were having tantrums. I was tempted to send them back with a little message saying, great, fine, developing normally. Send them back to me if they're not having tantrums. Right? Yeah. And I'd get teenagers brought to me by parents, very anxious parents, who'd throw them in through the clinic door and say, do something about him. I said, what do you want me to do about him? Sit down, have a cup of tea. You know, what's wrong? He's schizophrenic. What do you mean by schizophrenic? Well, he's got split personality. What do you mean by split personality? Well, he's nice one minute and horrible the next. This is what we call adolescence in the trade. Lots of people ask me what ism I belong to. You know, am I a Freudian? Am I a Jungian? Am I a psychiatrist? Am I a psychologist? Am I an analytical therapist? Am I a play therapist? My answer to that is, at one time or another, I'm all of those things. Because I think we should always start where the child is and what they require. And if what they require is a psychiatrist, then I'm a psychiatrist. If they require a play therapist, then I'm a play therapist. And that means that play doesn't belong to any one of those. It belongs to all of them. It's an ingredient in every single one of those professions. And I would regard it as essential to all of them. For example, I'm absolutely staggered how few people in some of those professions, but certainly allied professions like general practice, for example, or teachers or social workers, no longer these days have a good grounding in child development. How can you know what's normal and abnormal in this child's life if you don't know what roughly a child of this age, in this context, would be struggling with anyway in terms of their development? And I can't think of a better way of getting at where a child's development is, except through play. This is a little lad who I think was 5 or 6, and his grandfather had died. And grandfather was the pillar of the family, and everybody was treading on eggshells emotionally. And Mum especially was trying desperately hard to say in the wake of her father's funeral that everything now was okay. It was all fine. It all settled down. And we were talking about this, and I was trying to persuade her that perhaps life wasn't quite as simple as that. And this little kid was playing with a snowstorm. And he kept shaking it up and then watching it settle down again. So I brought him in and I said, what are you doing, Simon? He said, it's a snowstorm, look. And when you shake it up, the Father Christmas in the middle gets lost. And he can't see where to go, you know, because there's snow everywhere. And his mum said, oh yes, but what? Stay still. Look, all the snow is settling down. It's fine. Now we can see everything is back to normal. And the little kid looked at her and frowned and said, no, it's not. Because when the snow settles, all the snowflakes are in a different place. It will never be the same as it was before. Every time you shake it up. And she understood. She understood. She gave him a big hug and they cried together. And I think they really started to grieve together.